Welcome to Common Sense Health, where we make perfect health common sense. Today, I want to start into the subject of hormones. I want to cover the first hormone, Ghrelin. Alright? I want to start this coverage of this hormone with a story. There's this time of year, Thanksgiving. We all sit down at the table for Thanksgiving dinner. All this food: turkey, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans and gravy. We've got corn cooked with cornbread with hot sauce, buffalo sauce, cranberry sauce. And that doesn't even start desserts. We got pecan pie, apple pie, all covered with whipped cream. And we sit down and we eat, and we eat, and we eat, until we are stuffed, till we couldn't fit in one more bite. And at the moment that there's just a little bit of relief from being stuffed, we get a plate and go back and we stuff it some more. What does everybody want to do after eating Thanksgiving dinner? Sleep. We're all fighting for the spot on the couch, right? Why? Why are we fighting for that spot on the couch? What makes us tired? Now, some of you have probably heard the story that it's a chemical in the turkey, and that chemical is called tryptophan. Well, it turns out tryptophan is an amino acid, okay? And tryptophan, well, amino acid is just a building block of protein. And protein are just the building blocks of the body, okay? So it turns out that this amino acid tryptophan is actually in a lot of proteins. Actually, it's in most proteins. And it turns out there's only an average amount of tryptophan in turkey. There's actually more tryptophan in pork and in egg whites. So, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I've eaten egg whites before, and I've eaten pork before, but I didn't feel as tired as I do after Thanksgiving dinner. What gives? Well, there's this hormone, Ghrelin. I like to call it the gut hormone. Now, it's important that you get a picture to understand this explanation, because when we get this picture in our mind, we don't tend to forget this understanding. And once you have this understanding, you can't go back to an old way of thinking. So once you understand this, it will change your life, okay? So try this one. Ghrelin. I picture this, a big G. Ghrelin starts with G, my gut hormone. That G is my stomach, all right? It's my gut. And then when I stretch that gut, Ghrelin, that big G, pops. So when the gut is stretched, the G pops, Ghrelin stops being released. Well, Ghrelin is what gives me this zest for life, all right? Why is that? Well, if you needed to forage for food, if you had an empty gut, then when the gut's empty, it's telling your brain that I need to be able to release energy to forage for food so I can fill my gut. It's all about survival. But when you stretch that gut like you do at Thanksgiving dinner, you don't need that zest for life anymore. You just need to slow down, get that food digested, and distributed throughout the body, right? All right, so we got the picture. I eat the food, I got the G hormone in my gut as my stomach, but when I stretch that sucker, it pops, the G pops. And in turn, I stop releasing Ghrelin, and I have no more energy. And you're like, hey Ben, now that you say it like that, you know, every time I go to the all-you-can-eat buffet, I walk out of there feeling the same tired. And you know what, now that you mention it, every night when I come home from work and I eat my big meal, And I sit down in my chair and I'm like, I had a hard day at work. I'm so tired. I wish I had the energy to go out and spend time with my kids or get things done. You mean that's because I stretch my gut? That's right. And here's the cool part. You can still eat. Just don't stretch your gut. You can go back to your plate later and eat again. Just don't pop the G. Don't stretch the gut. Do you see how that could change your life forever? You don't have to abstain from food. You don't have to go hungry. But if you don't stretch your gut, this energy is continually released. Every night after work, you're going to have the energy to go play with your kids. Could that change your life? You're going to have energy to get work done. You're going to feel better. You're going to lose weight. And there's no willpower involved. There's no abstaining involved. It's just using your sense. It's just connecting that wire to the gut. It's just when you feel that gut start to stretch, that you realize the that comes from that stretching of the gut. And when you realize that, you stop eating. And once you start to pay attention to that, it'll be very apparent. A friend of mine that I'm helping, he said, it's like there's a wire now going from my brain to my gut. And I feel that stuffing and I hate that feeling. So now he never stuffs anymore. His life is completely different from that point forward because he thinks about it different. Your life is going to be completely different. Just don't stretch the gut. That's the story of Ghrelin. This is Common Sense Health, where we make perfect health common sense.